We're now going to evaluate a double integral over a domain region where this domain region is not rectangular. Since the region is not rectangular, we do need to consider the order of integration and make sure that we're integrating correctly. The order of integration is going to be determined by that domain region. So first let's sketch the domain. So this is the graph of the square root of x, and this is the graph of x squared, focusing only on the portion in the first quadrant because we are looking at a region that is bounded by these two functions. So we'll erase the rest of the graphs in order to highlight the bounded region. But as a reminder, this top portion was the graph y is equal to rad x, and the bottom portion was y is equal to x squared. Now, in order to determine the limits of integration, we're going to envision a little tiny rectangle inside this domain region and decide, do we want to float this rectangle up and down first, or do we want to float the rectangle right and left first? In this case, it actually doesn't matter, because no matter where I am in this domain region, if I float up and down or integrate with respect to y first, the lower limit and the upper limit is the same throughout the domain region. If we decided to float right and left, which would be integrating with respect to x first, again, throughout the region, no matter where we are, we have the same lower limit and the same upper limit, so either order of integration would be fine. I'm actually going to choose with respect to y first, floating that rectangle up and down. And the reason for that is simply because my boundaries are already solved for y in terms of x. So if I integrate with respect to y first, the inside limits can have x variables in them. So these boundary functions are ready to go if I integrate with respect to y first. And so the integrand is x plus y. We're integrating with respect to y first and with respect to x second. With respect to y, the lower limit is going to be x squared, which is the bottom function of that domain region. The upper limit is going to be square root of x. And again, x variables are okay here because when we integrate with respect to y first, the x values are going to be held constant. Now we need to think about what the x limits are going to be, and remember these outer limits have to be constant with respect to both variables of integration, which basically means true constants. And we get those limits from considering when this band is at its extreme value. When we're all the way down here in the corner, the smallest value of x that we hit is 0, and when our band is all the way up here in the topmost corner, the value of x is going to be 1. And now we're ready to calculate the integral. So we'll start with the inside iteration, which is the integral from x squared to the square root of x plus y dy. And remember that x is being held constant. So the integral of a constant is just going to be that constant multiple times y. And the integral of y with respect to y is going to be y squared over 2. Now we're going to apply those limits of integration, and as a reminder, these are y limits of integration, so they're going to go in for the y variables, not the x's. So to plug in that upper limit, we're going to get x times y, but rad x is going in for y, plus y squared over 2, and again we're plugging in rad x. And then from that we subtract the lower limit being plugged in. Nothing gets plugged in for x, but we plug x squared in for y, plus y squared over 2, and again x squared, the lower limit, is plugged in for y. And when we simplify, we get this expression that's then going to be used as the integrand for the outside iteration. So that second iteration is then going to be the integral from 0 to 1, and we use this expression then as the integrand. And now we integrate with respect to x. And so we get 2/5 x to the 5/2 plus 1/2 is a constant multiple of x squared over 2 minus x to the 4th over 4 minus 1/2 constant multiple of x to the 5 over 5. And then all of this is going to be evaluated from 0 to 1. Before I plug in my limits, I'm going to go ahead and simplify everything just a tad bit. And then let's plug in the upper limit of 1, and then subtract. Plugging the lower limit of 0 in is just going to give me 0 in all of those spots. And this all turns out to be 3/10, which is our final answer.